Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Comic Chat with Gat. As always, I am the title character, Gat, and that is Comic Chat with. And we talk about comic books, and we talk about the current news in comics, and also teaching me about stuff. We've been doing this for almost a year now, and I'm pretty sure I've learned enough about stuff to get the basic gist of comics, but I don't pay attention to the current things, like DC deck building. Got me into that, loving it, and we're going to go over a new expansion filled with things I don't know.
It's true.
So all over this table is stuff that Taylor's going to teach us about, and in the meantime, I'm going to eat part of a Butterfinger because it's delicious and it was offered me by a sick person.
Okay. We're talking about the Legion of Superheroes.
Yep.
Before I get way into the cards, I'm going to talk about the comics.
Yeah, because I don't know what any of this is.
Okay. The Legion of Superheroes are a group of superheroes from the year about 3008. Okay. And they fluctuate sometimes, like in older comics from like earlier and then a little bit later, different centuries around 3000.
Sure.
And so what's cool about them is they all have these Legion flight rings.
Wait a minute. Was this based on a Jonas Brothers song? Like they were born in the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they live underwater. But their great-great-great-granddaughter's just doing fine.
They don't. Sarah,
you better believe I love some Jonas Brothers.
I just want to tell you that Sarah has been listening to that CD nonstop in her car. She got the CD. We were at the thrift store buying stuff for Halloween costumes.
This is real life.
Yeah, but they also talk about Back to the Future, and that song.
Didn't get it.
Yeah, they say flux. And they mean flux capacitor.
Okay.
Anyway, they actually say flux capacitor.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, Chris. Yeah, sure.
So I do a tangent there.
So yeah, they're pretty nerdy. It seems like those Jonas Brothers.
Yeah,
actually,
they're friends of the show, the Jonas Brothers.
Good old Jonas Brothers. Okay, so anyway, they're from the future, but the Legion of Superheroes is based off of the history and the character of Superman. So they base an entire, like, we're aliens, right? Because Superman's an alien. We're aliens from other worlds or sometimes even Earth that have powers, and we want to be up to the standards of the great Superman. Kind of like there's
like a god.
Not a god, but more like a figure to look up to. Like Superman was one of the greatest heroes of all time. There's a Superman Museum, and from the Superman Museum, they decided, that's a character to look up to. That's a character to emulate. And so they base, like, basically there are three main things, which are like truth, justice, and the American way. Off of.
How can there be an American way?
That was old. That's the old. It's.
Okay, just double check that.
But it's supposed to be like the ideals of the, like, just like the old timey American ways, not like the new, like, we're terrible and fat and everything like that. But like, the old timey American ways. So like truth and justice and stuff like that.
Not
so
gay marriage.
So the main three Legion of Superheroes are Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl.
Are we going to be showing pictures of these?
Yeah.
What we're talking about?
And so Saturn Girl, her main thing is she's a telepath, and so she can see in people's minds like Professor X, right? Cosmic Boy can control magnets, so he can manipulate magnets.
So we got Jean Grey and Magneto.
He's kind of the American way. Like of the three, they say like he's about justice. Lightning Lad is the third one. He's about justice. He manipulates lightning, and shoots lightning. Saturn Girl is the truth because she can read people's minds.
Sure. And
the all-around like good guy kind of character is Cosmic Boy.
He's the white guy with the short haircut, kind of looks like military style.
Yeah,
I can see that.
So of those three characters, basically what happens is Superman. In this book, Superman and Legion of Superheroes is one of my favorites. These two are actually my two favorite Legion stories, and they connect. Which actually I hadn't read them succinctly for a long time because this came out way before this did. And the story of the Legion, because that's all the way in the year 3000, is actually like directly after. But like this could take place at almost any point. This takes place during Final Crisis. So one question I've already got for the Legion of Superheroes: what do you know? What year or millennia that Superman died? No, because they don't really have that date. I'm just confused on why, like 3000, the year 3000. It's just supposed to be like he's been dead for a while, right? And they brought back.
There's no one between that time period
that is any better than Superman.
Yeah,
no way. Okay,
easy enough. Fuck you, Aquaman.
So in this book, it's supposed to show like why, like what they did is they have a time machine because they're from the future and they have the time sphere, and they come back when Superman as a kid, okay, when he was Superboy, when he was just Clark Kent in Smallville, he had to pretend to be bad at sports, he had to pretend to be bad at all this stuff, because otherwise he would hurt people, he would be like, people were like, how are you so good at everything, and he would just like, laser their eyes out or something, who knows, whatever, and so he always felt like an outsider. Well, these three kids, when Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl had just started this thing, they time travel back and are like, hey, you're young Superman, you don't know it yet, but you're going to be super awesome, come with us to the future and hang out, and like, well, they're like, hi, we really can't talk to you because future stuff. And he's like, can I hang out with you? And like Cosmic Boy's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but Lightning Lad's the rambunctious, like kind of he's the rebel.
Let's do it.
The rebel guy.
You
He's
can tell by
like,
his
he's like,
long
we've already
hair.
broken rules. Like, why don't we just break this other one and bring him to the future? Who cares? Like, whatever. Like, oh well. And so they do. And kind of, it's a weird thing where, I actually just watched a Doctor Who episode about this where he was talking about, it doesn't matter. If you saw the recent Doctor Who episode, they talked about it. But basically, they kind of teach him truth, justice, the American way.
They teach Superman.
But he was
The inspiration,
for it. Yeah, so it's circular.
Okay.
So kind of because they were based off of his things, they're kind of like she instilled that, they all instilled it on each other. And so he had these friends that were like, here's a Legion flight ring, even though he didn't need to fly, but like it's kind of like you're part of our thing. The Legion flight ring allows anyone to fly and can let you breathe in space. It's kind of like a little bit of like a shield and lets anyone fly. So everyone, because Superman flies, so they need a way to kind of represent that. And he can fly into space. So they kind of, take him under their wing, and he's like, when can we do this again? And they're like, why not tomorrow? Because we're literally time travelers, and you can just be gone within 5 seconds and back within 5 seconds because time travel. So through his entire childhood, they were his friends. And so in the Superman Legion of Superheroes, something terrible goes wrong in the future, and they try to solve it themselves because it's super dangerous for Superman because the sun is red in this, for some reason, the sun is red now, and he has no powers.
Right.
And so they keep trying not to, but Brainiac 5, who we'll talk about, who's the other, I would say the fourth main member of the Legion of Superheroes in any incarnation, is Brainiac 5. And so Brainiac's a bad guy, right, for Superman, usually, classic Superman.
I remember that.
But now, the fifth iteration, the fifth version of him, he is now, like, he's so sentient that they have their own thoughts, and they're not, like, evil, and like, they all crave intelligence still, but they're actually sentient and, like, actual aliens at this point, not just, like, machines and stuff like that. So he, sends a thing, like a giant Brainiac machine to get Superman's attention, but he's like, I need to take you to the future. There's a time sphere in here. I can't figure out there's no other way for us to solve this problem, even though we said we wouldn't get you involved, but to take you in the future. So they take him in the future, and it's really cool seeing Superman without powers, but still it kind of helps you understand why people think Superman's so great, because these characters are so reverent of him, and he solves problems and just, like, is this guiding voice.
Did they give him a ring?
Yeah, they gave him a ring. Yeah, so he can still fly and he can still breathe in space and stuff.
That was very confusing.
He always has a ring, I guess. Like, either like, here's your ring back kind of thing. I think the ring that he gets in this one actually is the one he has when he comes back to the future for the Crisis Legion of Three Worlds, because it's like invisible. It's always cloaked on his finger because you can't know about the future. People don't be like, what's that Legion ring? So it's like as a cloaking device.
Sure.
But he's always wearing it, and it can. I guess so far in Final Crisis they called him on it. They're like, we need your help in the future again. Just say yes, and I'll instantly teleport you with this ring straight to the future. And he's like, yep. And he's like, pew! Future, really cool stuff. But so the story is about Earthman twisting this guy called Earthman, which
bad guy, good guy.
Bad guy.
Got it.
Side story: Earthman is probably, he's a huge villain in this book. Nowhere to be seen in this expansion.
Why would that be?
Well, I think, and I think that DC has a lot of say. Has the most say as far as what I've heard. With these deck building games, obviously their names on it, and so I think that they were pushing for new characters, like characters that are more pronounced in the New Legion books, which is kind of why I'll talk about that later. Like, these two characters are not the two characters that I would have assumed after reading these two books that would be the 6 main characters.
Sure.
And similar to like some of the extra, like the heroes and villains that are in this, you're kind of like, well, why wouldn't you have, like, where's this guy or where's this guy, which were huge parts of this book, but maybe not as big parts of where DC's going now.
Sure.
So in this, Earthman has corrupted the Earth into thinking that Superman, it was all fake, and the Legion made it up that he was an alien, and they should be xenophobic and kill all the aliens and remove them from Earth and not be a part of alien culture, because Superman was really just an Earthling, so the fact that they claimed that he was an alien is bullshit, and fuck aliens. Like, he's like this super, like, xenophobic, crazy man, because he was... The really reason why is, like, all the people that are in his new Legion of Doom, which is the Justice League, because they're supposed to be good guys, now that is a similar situation to Osborn. They're calling themselves the Justice League.
When they're not.
But they're bad guys.
Yeah.
But they're, like, corrupting everyone.
The Injustice League, moving on.
Yeah, so the only way, obviously, to prove that is if Superman shows up and goes, no.
Okay.
Like, I'm an alien. So that's why Brainiac brings him, but also if he doesn't have superpowers, people don't believe he's Superman.
Sure.
So it was a whole thing of, like, how do you fix it, and how do you, like, stop this crazy man from corrupting the youth and everything, and they have great characters. His character, actually, Timberwolf, I think is his name. I hope that's right. He's basically Wolverine, like, not even, like, kind of Wolverine. Like, his powers are... I mean, he's got claws. He has super senses. Like he has regenerative
And
abilities.
he's from Minnesota.
No, because he's from the future. But he's from Earth though, so maybe he could be from Minnesota.
Basketball team.
Oh. Anyway, so it's kind of funny. I know what I really like about these Legion books is like I'll show you. There's got to be like a quick one. Every time they reintroduce characters, they have like who they are, what's their name, where's their home planet, and like what their abilities are. So as you're reading, because there's so many Legion, so I can complain all I want about missing characters, but there are thousands of Legionnaires. Like let me just show you a spread. Like there's a lot.
How long has this series gone on for?
A long time. It's an old series.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns, of course, is the writer of both of these, and he brings these characters that seem kind of silly and dumb, like the Legion of Superheroes, which would probably seem like childish and kind of dumb, and makes them just fantastic. Like he does everything else, like he does with Aquaman, like he did with Green Lantern, like he did with a bunch of stuff. So I say that the two books I would read is Superman and Legion of Superheroes by Jeff Johns, and the art by Gary Frank. I just want to say I love it. He makes Superman look like Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
when he draws him like Christopher Reeve.
The hair.
And it's just, I don't know, I really like the art style in here. And then Final Crisis, Legion of Three Worlds. So if you ever read Final Crisis, it's really hard to read. It's one of, like it's a Grant Morrison book, and it's just one of those, like I said, like Eddie does that stuff where you're really like, now reading it now, it makes more sense. But when I read it and I know all the characters, you really have to be like pretty knowledgeable about DC characters, which most of those Crisis books are, because they're the big event.
Yeah, everything is culminating.
Yeah. Superman's missing for some of it, and you're like, where is he? Well, he was in the future dealing with this stuff. So he kind of shows up at the end of Final Crisis, because he comes back in the future dealing with Superboy-Prime. So this book is about Superboy-Prime coming back and just wreaking havoc on the future. And it's awesome. And so I highly recommend both of these as far as Legion books. So let's talk about some of the characters that are in this.
Before we get into that, let's do kind of a recap, because that was a lot to take in. Give us maybe a one sentence of what the Legion of Superheroes represents.
Legion of Superheroes represent the ideals of Superman in the future, and so they're a team of superhumans or super things, aliens, superpowered beings that want to emulate and distill the good nature, the no killing, everything that Superman stands for, into a superhero team of the future.
And then there's bad guys out there that just, of course, there's always bad guys.
Lots of the bad guys are disgruntled people that were turned down from being in the Legion, which they talk about this too. Earthman was one. His powers, he can absorb anything. And a bunch of other people that joined his Justice League were also not allowed in the Legion. And the reason is, like, they end up talking, because Saturn Girl can see people's minds, and so Cosmic Boy is actually talking to Polar Boy, who's one of my favorites. Lots of boys, because they're boys, but now they're older, even though they're still called Cosmic Boy, because he's like, whatever, I don't need Cosmic Man. Because there is a Cosmic Man, there's a Cosmic King, and he's like a bad guy, whatever. So, Cosmic Boy is talking to Polar Boy, who was originally not allowed because he couldn't control his powers very well, so, like, you can't, like, just be this, like, you're like a ticking time bomb. I mean, you're these sweet ice powers. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. He's really jokey and, like, awesome. But they're like, you can't be a part of this because you just can't control your powers. We can't trust you. But he eventually went back with him and a couple other of, like, they're called, like, the Rejects or something. And they formed their own team of, like, we're going to get better together so we could then be a part of this. Because, like, it's kind of like when you get a constructive criticism or a criticism in a class, and you can decide, I'm going to quit or I'm going to do better. And so that's kind of the mentality of Polar Boy. He's ended up becoming a Legionary. He earned his ring. But these other guys, this Earthman, Nuclear something, I can't remember his name at the moment, but, like, there's a bunch, Radiation Man, I think is his name, and a bunch of other guys, they just got bittered. And when Polar Boy's like, oh, they're just whiny babies, like, it doesn't matter. And Cosmic Boy tells him, he's like, it's not just because you didn't control your powers that we didn't let some of these people in. Like, Saturn Girl looked in all their minds, and if they were psychopaths and had tendencies to be terrible, terrible people, we also didn't let them in. Despite how good they could have been, the best strength guy in the world, or, like, whatever, but if he was going to maybe be a psychopath, we're not going to let him in. So that's kind of another, like, thing that, like, something that Jeff Johns thought about.
Sentence summary we just gave there.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You know me, I love comics. That wraps it up.
There we go. For anyone else who's left watching, make sure you check out all of our other videos. We are Comic Chat with Gat. We're a weekly podcast about comic books. We're also something that lives and breathes by having our guests frequently join us while we record our shows. And so we also live under the CBX cast name. We have a video game podcast called The Cardboard Box. We've got Real Retro. which goes over movies,
and they're talking about Back to the Future 2 this week.
which is
Which actually I think we're putting it up
the day
same
it
day.
comes out, probably.
So same day as ours. Competition. Well, no.
We would win.
Okay.
So no. So anyways, Comic Chat WGAT with Twitter, which I don't run anymore. Taylor runs it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Comic Chat with Gat on Instagram and Tumblr. Taylor also does that too. And I just kind of hang out and watch. Like literally hang out and watch. But otherwise, subscribe, follow, check out our other links, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And go play this game. And here's a link to when we played it, and I got to play it for the first time. So,
yeah.
There's that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.